It was in May 2021 that wb&sons in Newcastle held its first ever sale, and here we are on the eve of their June auction that takes place on Saturday the 11th of June starting at 11 o'clock. The bidding is online, over the phone or in person, and it's safe to say, Joe, the variety is as strong as ever, right?
An eclectic mix as always, and not all of them specifically cars, but some of them of interest to car people. What about a Sinclair C5? Now this does have car provenance, it's had a chassis designed by Lotus, it's got an Italian power plant and lightweight plastic construction made by Hoover, of all people.
The vacuum cleaner people.
Indeed.
Good.
But if a C5 doesn't attract enough attention, this one's got neons. I absolutely love these things. I think this is uber cool, proper collectible, classic, not car, but classic. I love them.
I can see you sold on that, but there's even a more powerful version just here, Joe.
There is. That one there has been sort of airbrushed in a kind of space type design, which makes sense because it is quite space racy. That one's got 48 volt electrics on it, which means it's good for over 30 miles an hour apparently, which is scary to even think about. But if you want to do about 30 miles an hour in something three-wheeled and blue, there's another alternative for you there.
Piaggio Ape, is that what they call it?
Ape, indeed. Good on your Italian, sir. Yes.
A nice utilitarian spec, Vespa-based, go anywhere.
It's a real hard-working vehicle. These, of course, came out in 1948, same year as Land Rover, so they've got a lot of history with them. They're still used today in rural bits of Italy. And this one, fantastic condition, hasn't been knocked around, hasn't been turned into a coffee store yet. You can if you want to. And I think if you want just a fun, quirky weekend classic and you don't have to go very far, I absolutely love it.
It's glorious, isn't it? And there's loads of other eccentric lots in this sale, isn't there? We've got this Reliant Regal three-wheeler here. This predates your Rodney and Delboy Only Fools and Horses supervan spec. This is an even older one.
If anything, even quirkier, this one. Plastic windows as well, and honest condition, I would say. It's not absolutely immaculate. I mean, there's a little bit of blotted paint and what have you, but don't restore it, because it's not tatty, it's honest, and we like that.
Absolutely, no, I totally agree.
Trafficators as well.
Listen, you being a Fiat fan, let's get down to business.
Ugh.
Can we do that? Yeah.
I'll let you have that one, because I absolutely love it. 1992. Fiat 126 Biz. Now, for those of you that don't know, these are the later Polish-built ones with a water-cooled engine and a hatchback, which means you've got a more usable boot than you would otherwise have. This one, 22,000 miles only, wow. And that's believed to be original and accurate because this thing is just immaculate. These things rust when they're exposed to oxygen, so the fact this one is so clean is just a testament to its current owner.
I think it's beautiful, it's really good. But I don't know how many people I've spoken to over the years that have said, look, I really like classic minis, but I just want them to be a bit shorter.
They can take up a lot of space, can't they?
Can't tell you how many times I've been told about this. So here we go, for those that think the Mini is too long, the Mini Shorty.
This is just quirky and brilliant. You'll notice the big number plate as well, just to round it off. But you know what, much like the Morris Minor 2000 we had in our previous auction preview, this has been really nicely done. There's no obvious join line in it, the paint's really good. It is genuinely roadworthy, although you will have to apply for a V5. I think this is just, it's something different and interesting. Again, take this to your weekend classic car show and people will love it.
Well, that is the long and the short of it, isn't it? But anyway, well look, we can go from the very short to the very large just over there, so let's head over there.
Absolutely. Now, you know we love a Bentley Turbo R, and we've got two of them.
Two of them?
Two Turbo Rs, and you know what?
A late facelift and one very similar to our own car, right?
Well, very certainly. So this one, green over tan, which is a very unusual spec. I think it looks absolutely lovely. I mean, obviously these cars are so big, you can't see all of it in the shot, unfortunately, but green over tan, slightly tinted windows in this one, so very unusual spec.
Tell us about the differences, because this being a later car, it's got airbags and centre console gear shift as opposed to column.
So it's a bit more conventional than the older style you find in this one, or indeed our own car. And this particular one has got the different wheels on it, which means you're not just bound to the one Avon CR27.
So there's more choice of tyres.
More choice of tyres. Sensible estimate, and I love it. But not as much as I'm sure you like this one.
Yeah, well, this is good. And actually, this has got slightly higher mileage than our example, but I think certainly the interior is immaculate, isn't it?
It is. Blue with grey leather is unusual, but you know what? It's in fantastic condition. Really, really nice. And again, it's got the correct CR27s on it, so it will drive properly, which is to say, superbly.
Yeah, they do need good tyres on these.
This has got an estimate on it less than the price of a new Fiesta. Physically, a lot of car for the cash, and we know these are glorious.
Budget for the maintenance as well, but you won't go wrong, will you? But
if you fancy Brit luxury that's a little bit cheaper to run,
a little bit more affordable, then this is a bit of me.
X308 XJ, 3.2 I believe.
Now this is a fairly last of the line, so the story goes that the replacement car, the X350, they had some issues with the body in white, with it being all aluminium, so the actual launch of the 350 was delayed. So they had to do a last-minute refresh, if you like, of the range. So the sport models, which this is, got the early XJR Penta alloys and mesh grille, and I think therefore a fairly poverty spec X308 suddenly looks amazing.
I agree, it looks gorgeous, doesn't it? The Pentas for me are the best wheels they ever have on an X308, but you do that without all the thirst and the extra complications of an R. And actually, like you've said, in the real world, a 3.2 is all the performance you'd ever need. And this is in fantastic condition. We've got an original head unit, the leather is pretty much unmarked, there's no fag burns or rips in it. Even things like the black trim on the B pillars, which can be all bubbly and cracked on these cars, that's nice and clean. It's not an R, it's not the one people lust after, but you know what, to actually use every day, I think this is a great shout.
Yeah,
Love it.
I think that's superb.
And Nicosil liners are well behind you.
That's a thing of the past, fortunately, by then, yeah. There's a few more Jags, but there's actually a Volvo up here that I really want to go and have a look at. So
for
let's
once
have a
we'll go straight to the Volvo.
Now, Joe, I've got to say, this sort of era of Volvo is definitely an itch I've got to scratch one day. I really need to buy one of these. This is a 960 Saloon, 2.5 litre inline six 24 valve engine. Glorious combination, sort of a mixture of traditional Volvo styling. It was penned by a Brit actually, Peter Horbury, but I just think the condition of this one, fairly low mileage for a Volvo, 92,000 miles.
I'm quite happy to just let you talk about this because you're clearly in awe of it, but you know what, so am I. Green over tan, so a bit like the Turbo R, but a lot cheaper to run. The interior is immaculate, the paintwork, the sheen on it is fantastic. This is in glorious condition, there's no marks on the leather or the dashboard, anything like that. It looks like an original radio. It's not an estate and everyone wants the estates, blah, blah, blah. For a long distance mile muncher with great value for money, I think this is a left field alternative.
We've got a Ford Cougar here, which I thought we'd just give a brief mention to, because it's a really unloved Ford of this era, isn't it? Everyone loved the Puma, didn't they?
The Cougar is a little bit unloved, unfortunately, particularly when they sully the name with that SUV thing they make these days. But this is a really just fantastically clean example. The headlights are just unmarked, which is unheard of for these things. Really nice example. The appreciation for these cars is small, but if you do appreciate them, this is about the best example I have ever seen. Great value for money as well.
Bonafide classic here, guys.
Well, quite right. Rover P5B, just a glorious vehicle. And this one, we've got a Webasto roof. It's got history pretty much back to the day it was brand new, and it's got a warranted, genuine 66,000 miles. It's a P5B, which is what you want. It's in this glorious sort of deep red maroon, and you know what? I am in love with it. I think it's gorgeous.
Yeah, proper tank-like Rover.
Bit of prime ministerial chic, but if this is just a little bit too traditional for you, you fancy more left field, plenty more stuff that way.
Let's go over here. So parked just in front of that Ford Pilot there is this F-150 pickup truck. You could probably put the mini Shorty from earlier in the load bed there.
You could, big fan of this, but more European your taste? Z3.
Exactly, bit of Roadster action. This is the 2.8 Z3, so that's probably the one to have.
Wide body as well, red roof, fantastic condition, manual gearbox. I've driven a Z3, you'll see it in an upcoming video. That was only a 1.8 and that was a hoot, so this will be a riot. Honestly, these are a proper unsung hero. Get one while you can.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And obviously, Mr. Wager and I both own Honda S2000, so we're a big fan of this one here. And this being a 2004 car, it's sort of slightly later spec suspension, slightly tweaked interior. Definitely the one to have. It's unmolested. It looks glorious.
Not so much as a private plate or an aftermarket exhaust on this one. Totally original. The roof is in better condition than yours, I have to say.
Well, yeah, to be fair.
But yeah, this is a really nice example. If you get your kicks more through going slow off-road than you do tearing around on a B road, look at all the 4x4s you've got to choose from. Land Rover Defender there, crew cab pickup with a wide body, massive knobbly tyres, big bull bar on it, and it's got the sort of Raptor liner paint job been done to it. That looks tough as nails.
It's insane, isn't it?
Love it. There's a Series 3 Land Rover there, which is a bit more workaday spec with the obviously a few little bumps and scrapes.
It's endearing. It's endearing, that one.
Endearing old thing. And if you want your off-roaders more left field, Jeep Wrangler. 2001, this is a 60th anniversary edition, 4-litre straight six, which is bulletproof, manual gearbox.
Official UK car.
Official UK car, right-hand drive, all that stuff. Great condition with a soft top and unmodified. Standard wheels, standard tyres, standard ride height, and dare I say it, more capable than a Land Rover.
Can I bring you back to Roadsters? If you want to go a bit more traditional. Although it probably wasn't tradition when it was launched in 75, but the TR7 here, what a piece of kit. I really like these, but you know.
Do you know what, we very nearly said the same thing there. I really like these as well. Proper unsung hero, the tartan interior. This is an automatic, which is unusual for a TR7. This one's in great condition as well.
I think they've stood the test of time personally, and you know, I love them.
They drive really well as well. Bit of an unsung hero. But if you want to talk about unsung heroes, Mark III Golf. Let's get it out of the way. These are a lot better than you think. And this is the cream of the crop. It's the VR6.
VR6. really narrow V formation, 15-degree narrow V.
Now, a lot of these have been abused, a lot of them have been slammed, a lot of them have been body kitted and track dayed and ruined, but this one has survived.
A nice unmolested example.
A little bit of bubbling in the paint on the roof, but other than that, it's glorious. It's unmarked. Even the trademark Mark III Golf glove box lid falling open isn't happening with this one. It's not even got so much as an aftermarket radio in it. It's totally original, lovely condition.
There's lots of original details like the dealer stickers and stuff, which I really like. So, like you say, these are getting really rare, and the VR6 is the one to have for the Mark III, isn't it?
Great car, really, really. And again, unsung hero, but not for much longer. But if you want to talk about a hot hatch that gets plenty of appreciation, Renault Clio 182.
Yeah, again, getting rare, these sort of little French hot hatches, aren't they?
These have been abused. Again, a lot of them have been track dayed, a lot of them have been ruined, but this one, really honest, decent condition car. Mileage slightly high on this one, but on the other hand, that means you don't have to be precious about it. Just take it out and enjoy it, and that's what these are all about.
Yeah, absolutely. The Rover P6 there, Joe, I know we're a big fan of these.
We do like a P6. This is only the 2000, but it's still a glorious thing. It's in really nice, honest condition. The leather is not immaculate, but nor is it covered in rips and fag burns, which is what we like to see. And whenever you cover a P6, you have to do this. Just have those lovely door shuts. Just a lovely, honest example, not perfect. I mean, there's a little bit of sort of bubbling in the paint on the bonnet and what have you, but if you just want a car to use here and now, perfect example.
This is sort of about as Citroen-like as you'll get from a classic car, isn't it, in terms of ride quality?
You're talking the presence of a Citroen DS lover, so you are in dangerous territory there.
I know.
This is a really nice, usable classic and great value for money.
I think this could be a really good rolling project, really. It's an R129 SL here. Joe, I know you're a big fan of these.
I certainly am.
This is a fairly late example as well, good spec.
Yes, very late example. It's an SL320, so it's got the V6 rather than the straight 6. When I did the buying guide for these, I realised quite what good value they still are. And if you want to buy one as a usable investment, this is the one to have, because it's a later car, it's got clear indicators, it's got the later lights. It's not perfect, this one. I mean, the leather trim, there's a couple little bits of wear and stuff, but it's all there and it's all original. And as we said in the buying guide, all the bits are available. So if you want to keep it in good health, it's totally possible to smarten up an example, but this one is going to be great value for money.
Exactly, I think that's the thing. You buy this now, you keep using it, but then you keep on top of all the maintenance things and then just steadily improve it, which I think is just the job. But listen, there are two more rarities that I really want to sort of end on, so we'll have a little bit of loot around there and go and have a look at them.
Perfect.
Now, I really wanted to look at this, Joe, because this is a rarity. This is a Singer Vogue, so the sort of upmarket of the Roots car. So this is kind of one step up, if you like, from the Super Minx.
Estate as well.
Yeah, a really rare estate car. This is a 65, so it's the 1.6, a really rare last of the line Series 3.
Gorgeous, isn't it? Fantastic. Love this sort of dark green paintwork, this sort of olive green interior. It's in a lovely but honest condition. There's a couple of little marks on things like the top of the dash and the steering wheel, so it's not been fully restored, but it's led a life. It's a family wagon. That's what it's meant to do. I think it's a charming thing. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, fantastic. Really good choice, this.
Yeah, big fan.
Now look, I know I said I wanted to show you two more cars, but I've just spotted this, which I really want to show us, the BMW M635 CSI. Glorious car, best of the shark-nosed generation BMWs in my opinion.
Agreed. Manual gearbox in this particular car. The wheels are not original for an M, but they are genuine Alpina wheels. They're worth a fair few quid, so if you bought this car, you could either keep those on it, because I think they look great, or swap them over to the originals. The interior, I mean, just, has that even been sat in? And these cars like to rot. This one, rust-free as far as I can tell. Paint is immaculate, even the sunroof is clean. This is just glorious.
I just think these were unrivaled back in the day.
I don't think it'd be too controversial to say this is cooler than anything BMW currently offers.
That's an unmitigated fact. But listen, there's a slightly more modern icon over here that I really want to show you.
Yes, keen for this. Now, we do love a 90s Japanese performance car, and this, one of the best. Toyota Celica GT4.
Just when Sierra Cosworth and Escort Cosworth prices have gone through the roof, suddenly this bit of Japanese exotica looks really appealing, doesn't it?
I'm of an era that I grew up on Sega Rally, so this is just one of my hero cars. I think this is a gorgeous example.
This is peak Toyota rally dominance.
And this is arguably one of the peak examples of a GT4 I've ever seen. I mean, those seats are just unmarked. Even the steering wheel's not all threadbare, the gear knob looks great, but on a B road, there's not much. It's going to be more fun than one of these.
I think they're just stunning, but if you want the real deal, Joe, there's a WRC edition right here. So this would have been one of the 2,500 homologation spec cars. Spectacular, it really is. No other word for it.
Glorious, isn't it? Lesser spotted WRC edition. It's got all the original stickerings on it. The fact it's been owned by someone in the GT4 Owners Club is a good sign. That means it's been properly cherished and it looks it. Again, it's just unmarked. If you were going to pick fault for originality, it's got some really nice Advan wheels on it, but then they've been hydro dipped in a sort of carbon fibre effect. Personally, I'd put them back to standard painted silver. They'd look great. But other than that, I mean, glorious car.
Probably didn't appreciate them back in the day, right? But now, here we are, nearly 30 years on. Fabulous, fabulous piece of kit.
I choose this over quite a lot of the 90s Japanese icons. But that's for you to make your own decision, because of course there are plenty of cars to choose from in the sale, not just either of these, but there's all kinds, as we've shown. There's Jags, there's a P6, there's a bit of Americana as always, Minis, Bentleys. wb&sons never fail to amaze us with the variety they have in these sales.
And if you want to come down in person and see some of the lots and you're in the Killingworth area, don't forget they've got their Sunday club, Sunday the 5th of June, so just a week before the sale, which takes place on Saturday the 11th. So yeah, come down and get bidding.
Thanks for watching.